flipping Rex came out from nowhere. Lucky I had this, but like it didn't really do much. I think I lost him. We're good. I would have tamed that Rex as well, but I just wasn't prepared. And if you want to avoid that misfortune, then follow these top 10 tips and you'll be prepared to tame anything. I think he's onto me. Hey, did you know that T-Rexes have an excellent sense of smell? It was so great and their nostrils were so far apart that they could smell directionally. Before we get started, I'm risking my life out here with all these dinosaurs around. Least you could do is subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when my content comes out. Oh, he spotted me. Need more bullets. Number 10, know your target. Before you venture out, you should really have a target in mind. Even if you're after multiple dinos, then you still need to know how to tame them and where they can be found. You can't just drug up all your future friends, force feed them and hope that'll work. Some of them don't like that. So let's say you're after a mantis and a bronto. With the bronto you can just knock him out and throw some berries at him and he'll love you when he wakes up. However, the mantis, he won't be so friendly. You'll waste a lot of time and resources with the mantis, and when you finally knock him out, you'll find that he won't eat anything, because he doesn't tame that way. Number 9, get prepared. For some creatures out there, you may need to consider many things, like what does it eat? And I don't mean just berries or meat. Some animals only eat seeds, and some only cake. Ironically, cake is the same way to tame me. And there's even one creature that only drinks beer. Something I did far too often was forget to bring narcotics. The taming process is quite long, and you'll need something to keep yourself entertained. I'm joking. They wake up surprisingly fast, so you'll need the narcotics to keep them asleep. Number 8, secure the area. Okay, so let's talk about knockout tames. It's probably the most common type of taming, so you'll probably use it a lot. So you see a dinosaur you want to tame, you fire some tranks at it so he'll fall asleep. When he's asleep, you force feed him and he'll wake up your friend for life. So while your new dinosaur is asleep on the ground, he's pretty vulnerable. If another predator comes along, you can easily lose him. And there are 2 solutions to this. After you've knocked him out, you can build spike walls around him so that he's safe. Or, before you start taming him, you can trap him. But I'll talk about traps a little more later on. It can be a little more complicated because sometimes tranks just won't cut it. Literally, they won't break the skin on some creatures. But you need something with a little more punch. Like a cannon to the head. For rock golems, you need to draw their attention but block their path, having clear line of sight from your cannon to their head. And timing is critical because if you miss their head too often, you will end up killing it. Which is really hard because the cannon isn't exactly easy to aim with. Number 7, passive tames. Passive taming can be one of the easiest on this list. All you need to know is what they eat, and go out with it, find one, and feed it. With the mantis, what you need would be a ghillie suit, some bug repellent, and deathworm horns to feed it. But make sure you bring enough stuff, because if you run out of bug repellent, he'll be able to see you again. And if you run out of deathworm horns, then your effort would have been for nothing, and you'll have to start over. Because if you run out of deathworm horns, and his taming bar is at 99%, you're so close that you've got nothing more. It'll eventually go back to 0 before you can get any more deathworm horns. Number 6, unique taming methods. Here's a few creatures that have to be tamed in a unique manner. Gashers will pretty much eat anything. Just drop it out of your inventory and he'll sit down and munch your stuff. To tame an otter, you need to go around and kill a fish, and then drag the fish over to him and feed him. Reaper Kings have probably the best and the worst taming method possible. How do you tame them, you ask? Have you seen the film Alien? If so, this might sound familiar. But in this sense, you have to go out and find a queen. Once you've found the queen, you have to let it impregnate you and survive the encounter. And if you survive, you'll then have to survive again as this new one bursts out of your chest. And then you have to run around chasing it to claim it. Troodons are one of the most annoying tames ever. These guys won't eat normal meat. No, they like their food to be alive. So Once you've trapped a Troodon, you need to take one of your dinos in there and let it kill it. And they're not necessarily going to tame after they kill one thing. They want to kill wyverns and gigas, which is really hard to get them to do it. Your dinosaur will probably not agree with your decision that he's now food, and will probably kill the Troodon before the Troodon can kill him. If you put your dinosaur in neutral, it will not affect taming for the Troodon. He likes a squirming dinosaur. My tips for these guys is tame them at night, because at night they get a boost to their taming and therefore require less dinos to be killed. If you're heartless and have no soul, then hatch those wyvern eggs you've been storing because they're low levels and just feed them to the Troodons. Sounds cruel, but it works. The Titans from Extinction can be tamed as well, and it might not be as hard as you might think. But you can only keep them for a small amount of time. The Titans have 3 areas on their body which have corrupted cells on. If you destroy the cells in order, they'll eventually become claimable. With a Desert Titan, you want to use its own lightning strike against it. So fly with a Quetzal just under its wing, and as it strikes you, fly away. It will stay there and it will shoot itself, destroying the corrupted node. For the Forest and the Ice Titan, your best option is probably to use a mech. I haven't had much luck taming them with anything else. Number 5. Shoulder Pets. A shoulder pet is a creature that you can tame and put on your shoulder and carry around with you, like a Compy or a Mesopithecus. And like the Mesopithecus, they usually have some sort of ability. This little monkey throws poo at your enemies. But the aberration shoulder pets, like the Shinehorn, have a special ability. They have the ability to detect when there is a max level dinosaur around, which means you'll never pass one without knowing that it was there. However, it only tells you that there's one nearby. You'll still have to go and search for it. Number 4. Traps. So a trap not only traps dinos, but after you knock them out it will protect them as well. However, as I said before, I do suggest adding some spiked walls just to be safe. But even with passive tames, it might be safer to put them in a trap as well, because then nothing can come along and disturb you while you're taming him. Making sure these creatures are safe while you're taming them is important, because if they take damage, even if it's from you, they'll lose taming effectiveness, which means they won't be as strong as they should be. But I'll talk more about taming effectiveness next. A simple stone box would be a great trap to start with. All you'd need is a layer of foundations, 1 line of walls, so that if you're taming a small dinos they can't get out, 1 door so that you can get out and close it, and then after that pillars high enough to trap the dino that you want if you're going for a big one. Now you either want a behemoth gateway to run through and close, or a ramp so that you can just run over and the dino will follow you into it and won't be able to escape. If you're doing this for a flyer or water dinosaur, make sure to build a roof. However, a simple line of behemoth gates, closed off at the end with doors, is enough. Just make sure you leave a gap between them so that you can shoot through the gaps. Number 3. Taming effectiveness. I'm sure you've noticed that when you're taming, either passively or by KOing them, that it states taming effectiveness 100%, and that slowly goes down throughout the taming process. So taming effectiveness will increase the creature's level after you've tamed it. A perfect tame will increase it by 50% levels, so if you knock out a level 100 and get a perfect tame, it will be level 150. If you get 0% effectiveness, then it will stay at 100. But when it comes up to getting the most levels you can, kibble is definitely your best option, but you also need to know what class of kibble to use. The different types of kibbles are basic, which is grey, simple is green, regular is blue, superior is pink, exceptional is yellow, and extraordinary is light blue. Not only will these increase the taming effectiveness, but they will actually decrease the time it takes to tame it. Number 2. Taming on the back of a dino. Some people just don't like building traps, so it might be useful to know that you can shoot off the back of a lot of creatures. If you can get one, the Griffin is probably your best option for this. Having great maneuverability while flying means you can keep up with any dinosaur, shooting at it on the back with the crossbow or long neck. Another advantage to this is when another dinosaur comes over to attack you, it will hit the Griffin first, providing you extra protection. The main downside to this though is when you're firing from your creature's back, it's really not easy to control, and you may find yourself wandering all over the place before you manage to KO any dinosaur. Number 1. Crossbow or rifle. This may sound like a silly question, but just hear me out. It's logical to think that the rifle would be your better option here due to the fact that it, along with its ammo, are more expensive to make. And yes, each single shot from the rifle is better than the crossbow, but the crossbow fires a lot faster, and the ammo is really simple to make. Another thing is, if you're out with the rifle and you decide to tame something underwater, you'd need the harpoon gun to be able to fire it underwater, but the crossbow will still work underwater. In my opinion, the crossbow is your best option in most cases. However, the rifle still has its uses. With a creature that has high torpor and low health, the rifle will be your better option on that one. Because the crossbow will be firing faster, it will be doing a lot more damage. However, while you're reloading with the rifle, the torpor is taking effect over time as well, and therefore you're getting more torpor for your damage. Well, that's just about it for this time, and if you have any more tips you'd like to share, then please share it in the comments below for everyone. Great, he's back. I release a new video every week and I'll see you then. I gotta go, so I need this.